world where shadows linger just beyond the edges of the everyday, one podcast dares to open the cabinet of the unknown. The Shadow Frequency invites you into a realm of cryptids, conspiracies, hauntings, and mysteries that refuse to stay buried. Each episode, host Matt Wilson and producer Juniper Ravenwood sift through the eerie files of the unexplained, uncovering chilling encounters, listener stories, and whispers from the dark. Step closer, if you dare, and tune in to the Shadow Frequency.
Come on, you stubborn old thing. This demon file cabinet. There, finally. All right, let's see what kind of cursed junk is in here tonight. Oh, a sassafras stick. I thought I smelled sassafras.
Yeah, of course you did.
Okay, all right. Well, let's see what else we can find. Matt? Why are there 2 shotgun shells in here? And wait a second, these are loaded with dimes.
Oh, now that's an old legend tied to the Lincoln County escape of Billy the Kid. Story goes Deputy Bob Ollinger used to brag that he had 2 shells packed with dimes and he'd put them straight into Billy's back if he ever got the chance.
That sounds like something right out of a horror movie, so did it happen?
Well, here's the twist. When Billy made his famous escape, he actually turned Ollinger's own shotgun on him. Folks say he fired those dime-loaded shells right back at the deputy, but historians agree it probably wasn't dimes at all, more likely just plain buckshot.
So the dime shells are just another creepy Wild West ghost story?
Exactly, a bloody legend polished into folklore.
Well, fitting enough, it looks like the file we need is sitting right here with those shells. Tonight's case file is ready. Episode 200, Echoes Trapped in Stone. Now that sounds interesting.
Perfect. Let's close the cabinet on the dime story and open the door on tonight's shadows. This is the Shadow Frequency.
You're tuned to the Shadow Frequency, where the veil between the living and the unknown grows thin. Strange whispers, hidden truths, and things best left in the dark await. Hosted by Matt Wilson, produced by Juniper Ravenwood, featuring Chris Beach. Let's step in to the shadows.
Welcome, listeners, to the murky depths of the Shadow Frequency, where the air hums with secrets the living can't quite grasp. I'm Juniper, your guide through the static, and tonight we're cracking open episode 200, a milestone draped in shadows. Our case tonight slinks out of the 1920s, a time when whispers of the stone tape theory first curled through the fog. Imagine stone walls, cold, ancient, heavy with time, holding on to screams, laughter, or footsteps from centuries past, replaying them like a phonograph stuck on a ghostly loop. These aren't spirits, find you, but something else, something trapped. Matt, you ready to step into this eerie echo chamber?
Oh, Juniper, you got my skin crawling already. Those old stones whispering secrets? I'm ready to listen, maybe with the lights on.
Fair enough. Take it away, Matt. Open that file and let's hear what the shadows are hiding tonight.
Thanks, Juniper, for digging into the dusty file cabinet to unearth this one. A case so strange it feels like the walls themselves are watching. Episode 200, listeners, and we're diving into the chilling origins of the stone tape theory. Born in the 1920s when paranormal investigators started noticing something peculiar about old stone buildings. Castles, manors, abbeys, places built from limestone or quartz, heavy with history, seemed to hold more than just cobwebs. They held memories. Picture this, a crumbling manor in the English countryside, 1924. A groundskeeper, lantern in hand, patrols the halls after midnight. The air's thick, the kind of quiet that presses against your eardrums. Then he hears it, soft at first, a woman's voice, singing a lullaby. He follows the sound, heart pounding, down a stone corridor to a locked room. The singing stops. He checks the door. Sealed. No one inside. But the next night, it happens again. Same voice, same lullaby, same spot. He swears he sees a figure. A woman in a long dress, her face blurred, gliding through the wall. She doesn't look at him, doesn't stop, just repeats. This wasn't a one-off. Across the 1920s, reports like these piled up. A castle in Scotland where soldiers heard phantom battle cries, swords clashing, men shouting, every night at 3 a.m., like clockwork. A Yorkshire abbey where monks claimed to see hooded figures pacing the cloister, silent, unaware of the living. These weren't ghosts in the traditional sense. No rattling chains or vengeful spirits. These were recordings, moments of intense emotion or trauma somehow etched into the stone itself. The stone tape theory, as it came to be called, suggested that certain materials, limestone, quartz, granite, could act like natural tape recorders. Intense human experiences like a mother's grief or a soldier's last stand could imprint their energy onto these stones. Under the right conditions, maybe a storm, maybe a full moon, maybe just the right frequency of silence, these moments would play back. Not as interactive spirits, but as loops, visions, or sounds, forever trapped. Investigators in the 20s were fascinated. They pointed to quartz, a mineral known for its crystalline structure, used even today in watches and electronics for its ability to hold and transmit energy. Could it be, they wondered, that these stones were capturing the raw essence of human suffering? Take the case of Blackthorn Manor, a limestone estate in Devon. In 1927, a family reported seeing a young boy, maybe 10, running across the courtyard every dusk. Always the same path, always vanishing at the same crumbling archway. They dug into the manor's history and found a record of a child who died there in the 1700s. Crushed when a stone wall collapsed. The family swore the boy didn't seem to see them. He just ran, panicked, over and over, as if the stone itself was replaying his final moments. The creepiest part? These sightings often came with a feeling, a heaviness, a sudden dread, like the air itself was charged with leftover pain. Witnesses described chills, hairs standing on end, even nausea, as if the stones were broadcasting not just images, but the raw emotion of those long-gone moments. The theory gained steam because it wasn't just castles or manors. Humble stone cottages, even ancient standing stones, were said to hold these echoes. The 1920s were a time when science and the supernatural were starting to tangle, and this idea, blending folklore with new language of energy and vibration, felt like a bridge between the two. As the decade wore on, researchers began sketching out experiments trying to measure electromagnetic fields near haunted stones, wondering if humidity or temperature triggered the playback. They didn't have the tools we do now, but their notebooks brimmed with stories. A woman's scream echoing in a quarry, a soldier's silhouette marching across a ruined fort. Each case built the mystery. What was it about the stone that could hold a moment in time? And what did it mean that these echoes, these fragments of the past, were still out there, playing for anyone who wandered too close? Listeners, imagine standing in one of those old halls, the stone cold under your feet, knowing it might be holding on to something, a laugh, a cry, a death, that it's waiting to show you. Juniper, you ever feel like the walls are watching?
Ooh, Matt, that's too creepy. The idea of stone replaying someone's worst moment? I'm checking my walls tonight.
Better keep a flashlight handy. Juniper, take us to the break. What's next?
You, Matt, you got us all staring at our walls, wondering what they've seen. We're halfway through episode 200 of The Shadow Frequency, and the stone tape theory is giving me chills. What's coming up? More eerie tales from those haunted stones, plus a listener message that's got me curious. I'm wondering what you all out there are thinking. Have you ever felt a place remember something? Hold that thought. Let's hand it to Chris for a quick word.
You got it, Juniper. If you're loving the Shadow Frequency, please like and subscribe and follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and all major podcast directories. Visit our website at shadowfrequencypodcast.com to catch all our episodes. Leave a voicemail telling us where you're listening from. We might feature it in our next episode. Check out our Shadow blog for companion articles to our episodes, grab some cool swag from our store, or support us by buying us a coffee. Now let's get back over to Juniper for a dive into the mailbag, where we share your thoughts and stories. Juniper?
Thanks, Chris. All right, time to crank up the spectral cosmic message materializer. Flipping the switches, tuning the dials, and there's the faint glow. A note flickering through the ether.
Message retrieved from the void.
All right, let's crack it open and see what our listeners got for us. This one is, Hi, Matt and Juniper. I'm Tyler from Billings, Montana. And I just wanted to drop a quick note to say how much I enjoy the Shadow Frequency. I usually stream it on YouTube while I'm working late in my garage. And sometimes I switch over to Pandora when I'm on the road. The mix of creepy stories and your fun back and forth makes it my go-to listen every week. Thanks for keeping the shadows alive. Tyler M., Billings, Montana. Tyler, you're out there in that garage surrounded by shadows, streaming our creepy tales. That's the spirit. Keep those lights on, my friend. Want to share your own strange story? Drop us a line at shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. All right, Matt, back to you. Let's dive deeper into those haunted stones.
Thanks, Juniper, and big thanks to Tyler for the love. Keep those shadows alive out in Montana. Now let's step back into the eerie glow of the stone tape theory, where the stones themselves seem to whisper secrets from the past. In the 1920s, as these reports of residual hauntings stacked up, investigators started piecing together patterns. Limestone and quartz kept coming up, materials with crystalline structures that, even today, we know can hold and transfer energy. Think about it. Quartz is in your watch, your phone, keeping things ticking with precision. Back then, paranormal researchers wondered if these stones were doing something similar, capturing emotional energy like a primitive battery. A castle in Wales, for instance, had a tower where visitors swore they heard a woman weeping, always at dawn. The tower was built from local limestone, and the story went that a noblewoman had thrown herself from the window centuries earlier. The weeping never changed, never responded, just played, like a needle stuck in a record's groove. But it wasn't just grand estates. A small quarry in Cornwall became infamous in 1926 when workers reported hearing screams, blood-curdling, raw, coming from the stone itself. They'd stop work, search the area, find nothing. The next night, same thing. Locals whispered about a mining accident decades earlier, where men were trapped under a collapse. The screams, they said, were identical to what witnesses described back then. The quarry stone was heavy with quartz, and some speculated that the trauma of those final moments had been absorbed, locked in, waiting for the right trigger to replay. Now, here's something to chew on. Not everyone was sold on the paranormal angle. By the late 1920s, some scientists, skeptics really, started poking holes. They argued these hauntings could be tricks of the mind, heightened by creepy settings. Old buildings creak, wind howls through cracks, and human brains love to fill in the blanks with stories. A psychologist in 1928 suggested that quartz or limestone might amplify natural sounds like distant footsteps or voices, making them seem supernatural. It's a fair point. Our minds are wired to find patterns, to turn a random noise into a ghostly wail. But that doesn't explain why so many witnesses across different places described the same visions, the same sounds, in the same spots, night after night. Still, the paranormal side pulls harder. Take the case of Greyfriars Kirkyard in Edinburgh, a stone-heavy cemetery where, in the 1920s, visitors reported seeing a man in a long coat pacing the same path between graves, always at dusk, always silent, always vanishing at the same headstone. The church's records showed a groundskeeper who died there in the 1800s, struck by lightning during a storm. The stone path he walked, packed with quartz, coincidence? Maybe. But the consistency of these stories across countries, across decades, makes you wonder if something deeper is at play. What's chilling is how these replays feel personal. Witnesses don't just see or hear, they feel the weight of the moment. A sudden sadness, a jolt of fear. Like the stone is broadcasting not just images, but the raw emotion trapped within. It's as if the walls, the floors, the very ground beneath us are alive with memories we can't escape. And if that's true, how many places, your house, your street, that old building you pass every day, are holding on to something, waiting for the right moment to let it loose? Listeners, next time you touch a stone wall, think about what it might be holding on to, what it might show you when the lights go out. Juniper, you buying this, or are the skeptics winning you over?
Matt, I'm torn. The skeptic in me says it's just old houses creaking, but those stories, they hit different. I'm not touching any stone walls anytime soon.
Yeah, smart move. All right, Juniper, close us out. What's the final word?
What a way to mark episode 200, listeners. The stone tape theory has us wondering if every stone building is a silent witness, replaying the past in whispers and shadows. Thanks for joining us on this eerie journey through the shadow frequency. We love hearing from you, so keep those stories coming. You can email us at shadowpodcast@protonmail.com, or of course you can find us on all of the podcast directories: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Rumble, and you can visit us at shadowfrequencypodcast.com for more creepy cases. Join us next time as we crack open another strange file. Matt, you want to say goodnight?
Good night, listeners. Watch those walls.
Sleep tight, everyone. Until next time, stay tuned to the shadows.
This episode was produced with a commitment to exploring the unexplained while grounding our discussion in documented discoveries. All interpretations are speculative and intended for entertainment purposes.